Good evening, Wolves fans. Welcome to another episode of the Old Golden Chat. Been a little while since we last recorded, so I'm quite excited to get into this week's episodes. I'm joined again by Leo. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, mate, I'm good, thank you. You?
Not too bad. I've kind of feels a little bit positive this week, doesn't it? We'll obviously get on to everything that's gone down this week throughout the week. Do you know what? We're all right because we're never short of anything to talk about on this podcast. But obviously with the Arsenal game, quite pleased with the performance. Have you been up to anything yourself, mate, on the old run up to Christmas?
Yeah, mate, went to Conkers. It was wonderful, mate, to be fair. Really good for the baby. So yeah, I'd recommend that to anybody. What about you?
Do you know what, mate? Just work. Just work. We're booking up, me and the missus, this week to go and see Avatar on, I think, next Tuesday. So we're looking forward to that. Just to be honest, mate, wrapping presents and the usual garbage that comes with it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move straight on to the Arsenal game. And to be honest, I was sitting here expecting to talk to you about a thrashing.
Yeah, I'm the same.
It wasn't the case. It was quite good. It was quite positive. I'm relatively happy with how we played. Obviously, we're still sitting here with no win on the table. But I think we've spoken to each other this week, haven't we? And for some reason, we've kind of put ourselves into a situation where we think that we might be able to get a win at some point in the upcoming future. But we digress. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. All goals scored by Wolverhampton Wanderers players. So it's the first time this season that Wolves have scored 3 goals. We all know that 2 of them came in the Wolves goal. Sam Johnston and Yerson Mosquera giving away 2 own goals. But a beautiful goal by Tolu Arakadar as well. So, yeah, let's get into it. How did you find the game?
Like you say, mate, I predicted 6-0 Arsenal. So especially when I saw the lineup and Arsenal, I was going to come at it. I was, as the game started, I was like, you know what? We've started off okay here. Like, they're not breaking through us. It was quite solid, weren't we? And I think throughout the game, I don't think Arsenal got out of second gear, but they weren't allowed to get out of second gear. We was quite good at stopping the gaps, weren't we? And Matt Doherty was just a breath of fresh air for me. Like, every time Martinelli had it, he was on his toes. And he made a few fouls, but he was on him straight away. It was such a difference to have a fullback who was a bit nasty in a good way. And I think it set the tone for how we started to play then as a team. What do you think?
Greg? I loved seeing Matt Doherty in that lineup. It was nice. It was refreshing to see someone who you can genuinely see care so much about the club, try and really make a stamp on the game. Do you know what? Martinelli is a player that Wolves tend to... He's a bit like the Matoma, isn't he, for us? We do tend to sometimes struggle against Martinelli. And I agree with everything that you say. I think he was nasty, but in the right way. He was clever in the way that he tried to stop him. And I think it was a testament to Wolves that, fair enough, Arsenal had chances throughout the game, which was always going to be the case. We obviously sat back in the low block. We pushed everybody an extra, probably what felt like 5 yards back towards our own goal, to be honest. But it's a testament to Wolves and Rob Edwards to say that Arsenal didn't have a shot on target until about the 70th minute, which was really pleasing to see. Obviously, there's a stat come out this week as well about Wolves doing really well on the run up to half time. We always go into half time at least drawing rather than losing under Rob Edwards, which is obviously nice to see, and hopefully we might be able to go into half time winning a game at some point soon. That'd be even better. But yeah, I was really intrigued, especially when the lineups came out and Hwang was playing up front and we'd swapped the two strikers. I was pleasantly surprised.
Both had probably the best chances of the half as well, didn't they? They had one each. I think the one thing I'd only say is what I'd like to have seen a bit more is just one of them making that run in behind. Everything was like to feet, coming deep, weren't it? And Arsenal seemed to try and suffocate us a little bit, so it just kept coming back. I couldn't do much with it, but it just kept coming back and back. And the one moment where Chan ran in behind, he got fed through because Arsenal was expecting that, that low running to receive the ball. And Chan was able to get a shot on target, weren't he? And Chan, full of confidence, probably took that one away. But to be fair, he does run the whole of the half, and he had 5 Arsenal defenders chasing at him. So I don't think it was easy as what fans was making out. The Larson one, I think, as well, was quite difficult. He had to take a touch. I don't think he realised. Did the defender slip? think he slipped. I think he took an extra touch, didn't he? It was going in the corner. The defender made a great tackle, didn't he? So, well, block. So, but two big chances. If one of them go in, their crowd, Arteta was just going to be absolutely losing his head, weren't he?
I can't lie to you, mate. If I could get rid of one manager out of this league, Arteta would be my first. He's essentially like Klopp when Klopp was whinging about everything. Apart from Klopp, at least to me, like he was a good football manager. Mikel Arteta, get him out, man. I cannot stand the bloke. Like his football is crap. I don't care whether the top of the league, man. I hate Mikel Arteta football. I hate the bloke. He looks like a prat. He sounds like a prat. And the straps that he has on the touchline, man, honestly, get rid of him. Get rid of him. But yeah,
I
let's
like
go.
watching the Arsenal team. I think it's quite different to what you watch as the top four normally, where it's just a bit like slow passing and whatnot. And I quite like to see the old, like, long throw and corner hitting the box, man.
I get it, and I like those elements of the game. But I think I can't sit there and watch Arsenal because I hate the fans. The fans, got to be the worst fans in the league. Between them and Villa, they really give each other a run for the money. I hate Arteta, so I really struggle to watch anything of Arsenal now, to be honest. Just, it's another London club that I hate, and just get rid of them. Let's go back to the game.
Yeah.
We'll very quickly touch over it because we've got a lot to talk about today. But the first goal at the corner coming in from Bukayo Saka, for me personally, and I know I'm probably going to get some critics, but I think Sam Johnston probably has to position himself better for that.
He come too far forward, didn't he? A little bit, went over it. He was underneath it, weren't he? But it was so unlucky. So unlucky. It's off the post and hits your keep off the head and goes in. Honestly, we just needed that rub of the green. Don't mean it just didn't happen again.
It's the running theme of the game, isn't it, to be honest? When you looks out, you looks out.
He seems quite desperate, doesn't he, to try and come out and punch and slap the ball away. And I think he was, again, just wanting to come out and get it. And it just, the trajectory of the ball just was too deep in line to the goalpost, weren't it, for him to come out and hit it, one sort of thing.
I think the frustrating thing for me was the fact that Saka had tried that corner throughout the game. It wasn't something new. It wasn't something that was unexpected. Arsenal's whole set piece routine since the start of the season is everybody starting at the back post, making the way into that specific area where Sam Johnston was. And he wasn't like, I understand he was trying to come out and punch the ball because he had Arsenal attackers and defenders around him. He wasn't under a massive amount of pressure.
No, I was going to say that now. No.
It was. I'm trying not to be too against our own player here because I think it was criminally unlucky to bounce off the post and hit him. I think I just want certain little touch-ups within the walls are something that between now and the end of the season, if they can sort it out, whether that be Johnston, whether that be a new keeper, whether that be Sarr, whoever's in the sticks, if they can sort out these fine little details when it comes to specific teams, we will win a game of football. And I think that game
they're starting to get edgy as well, weren't they? Like if he just manages to get something on that and pushes it away or claims it, the game starts to get turns to our favour a little bit. Zubimendi going off, I thought that shocked me, that did, because he is an unbelievable centre midfielder, he is. And when he went off, I was like, oh yeah, that's good. But saying that, João Gomez had a very good game, playing a bit further forward, winning that ball higher up. I think it suits his game a bit more than just sitting so deep. The only thing I think he struggled with is he didn't have a clue who to pass the ball to. And if I was in that team like him, I don't think I'd have known either, because the runs just aren't there, are they, at times when we have won that ball back? Whether we're not expecting to win it or we don't know what to do when we do win it, we've just got to touch up on them runs just to help us on that transition when we've got the ball back.
Yeah, it's the story in the season, isn't it, with us at the minute? It's our midfield too, being aggressive in the challenges and pushing players and biting at the ankles and winning loose balls and trying to break forward. And you can see what Rob Edwards is trying to do, which is good. You can see that they're trying to make fast counter-attacking football there. There's their way of going forwards, especially against a team like Arsenal, when we obviously knew that we was going to be playing in the low block. Obviously, that is the only downside to having a Matt Doherty at right wing back, because he won't be able to get up the pitch as fast as what Nuno's Matt Doherty would have. But again, I thought he was really good. The substitutes, I think Rob Edwards got it right.
I loved them.
I think they really made a difference to the game. Matheus Mane, come on, did really well.
The first thing he did was when he had the ball, he turned, run at their defender, pushed them 10 yards back, and it scared Arsenal a little bit because I didn't expect it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that Fer Lopez does magnificently well as well. He did it at United as soon as he came on, grab the ball to feet, turn, a nice little bit of pace, and then he's driving at defenders and making them push back a few yards. And I think that was the theme of the Arsenal game, to be honest. I think, like I say, Matheus Mane did well for it. Fer Lopez, I'd probably be a little bit more critical about his defensive abilities for the second goal, which we'll come on to. But actually going forward, I thought he was superb as well. Tolu coming on, causing a menace, and that's where the goal came, really. We'd obviously got Thatcher as well, who came on. He was at right back. He tried to whip it. He whipped quite a good ball into the box for Jackson Thatcher's level of ability. The ball kind of got ping-ponged around with Joe Gomez and Fer Lopez, and the ball eventually came out to Matheus Mane, probably about 25 yards out on the left-hand side. Do you think it was a shot, Liam, or do you think it was a cross?
I think it's one of them clever ones where he just tried to do a both, didn't he? I think he was aiming for him, but I think he was like, if I miss this, I'm going to bend it in, and that helped the goal because David Raya had two options. Then he either tries to anticipate the header, and if you don't header it, it's going to bend in the corner, or you anticipate to save the shot, which he did, and Tolu, all he had to do was flick it on, and it was a great goal.
I think it was so smart, and all props go to both Mane and Tolu for that goal, because I agree with you. I think he probably was just, Matheus Mane was just putting it in that dangerous area. And then when the ball came in, and I think in the back of his head, I think Raya probably thought, he's not scoring from here with his head. Like, he's pretty much standing on the 18-yard box. He's not scoring. He's not generating enough power, so I'm saving a shot. And all credit goes to Tolu, because he did exactly what we asked of him. He got in front of his defender. He rose high. He made himself available. He was bullying and ragdolling the Arsenal defenders times when he came on. And I did think it wasn't going to happen for him, because there was a couple of occasions where the ball came to him from Fer Lopez and he just couldn't get it out of his feet. But let's hope and let's pray that's the turning point for Tolu now.
The celebration was nice as well, and it see all the players. They didn't just run over because that too. They just stormed across, didn't they? If I need to go and fuck the point here against Arsenal, a well-deserved point as well, to be fair. For
yeah, I agree. So Raleigh, who I did the match preview with, and he said that I've obviously watched Wolves a lot, but I cannot believe they were sitting there with 2 points and they came with the setup like he said that they probably would, and they were fantastic, and he gave us all the credit in the world, which was nice to hear, to be honest.
I'd say, when Fer Lopez comes on, he just looks like he knows already where that ball's going. So, like, I'm not knocking Wang because I thought he had a decent game, but when that ball comes to Wang, he takes 5 touches, and then he's having to look up 5 times before he realises what he wants to do. Where Fer Lopez is just like super quick, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you can just tell how easy he made it look against a very difficult side. And for that 85th minute to the 90th minute, I've never seen Arsenal panic so much this season, I don't think. They really did panic.
All out the feet, could they?
No.
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Let's move on to that killer blow. No. It's been nice to talk about something nice, but the killer blow was obviously and props to all the Arsenal fans who decided to leave the ground after the Wolves goal as well. You absolute cowards. Honestly, do you know what? Just because you concede to Wolves, who have been diabolical all season, because you have just shown how minuscule your tiny club is, and I absolutely love it, because I cannot stand them. But yes, so obviously Arsenal did win the game. The ball was another cross coming in from Saka on that left-hand side. And this is where I'll probably give Fer Lopez a little bit of criticism, because I think he did exactly what we've done all season. He was too late to try and stop the cross. The cross should have been stopped before it even come in. Mosquera lets Gabriel Jesus get in front of him, and he actually completely misses the header, and it just comes off Mosquera, and there's nothing he can do about it, in all fairness. And when the luck's not with you, the luck's not with you.
I know. Jesus' movement, it made Mosquera's decision to, he had to go, didn't he? And he lost his position where, if he was standing face on with that ball coming at him, if that ball hits a different part of his head, it would have gone anywhere else, wouldn't it? But because his position changed when he went to make that header, he'd already committed, hadn't he? And it just scooped off his left forward, part of his forehead, and it just, what an absolute finish that was if it was the striker. I felt sorry for him now. He was really gutted, weren't he?
I felt sorry for him because I thought he probably had a good 7 or 8 out of 10
Yeah.
game in
And
that game. I thought he
whether
was.
you think he's good or not, he leaves everything on that pitch, to be fair to him. He's a backline. I know he goes down a lot easily, but he only goes down just to be a bit of a shithousery, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He,
it's
he
what we
does
did.
leave everything on that pitch.
I like Mosquera. I think he'll get better within time as
Yeah.
well. So it wasn't to be at the Emirates, but we'll obviously get on to our match preview in a bit, and hopefully we could potentially, hopefully, see 3
Yeah.
points at the Molineux.
I like the ending as well with Rob Edwards. He just seems to like, I can't criticise him yet. Everything he does, I'm like, oh, fair play. You know, like he went straight into the away end, not just over to a little clap. He went straight in there, didn't he? And when he turned around and just told the players to go over there because I'm going to clap you off today, like that just shows you that he just knows what the atmosphere is like, doesn't he?
He's ironically the leader of the dressing room.
Yeah.
If we could have a Rob Edwards in the dugout and a Rob Edwards on the pitch, I think we'd be in a completely different position for this season. But going from positivity with a good display against Arsenal and our positivity with Rob Edwards and how he conducted himself, we'll go to the only way I can describe it is the shit show that came out days later. Mikey Johnson from BBC WM sat down with the owner, Jeff Shi, Matt Jackson. Brain dead interview, to be honest, Liam. The interviewer, spot on. I think his questions were really good. I think you have to give props to him and the way that he handles the podcast. To be honest,
He didn't make it easy for them, did he? He could have made that a lot easier for them.
Yes, I agree. But in true Fosun fashion, they somehow managed to have an hour of being able to give a message to fans after the protest and come out worse. The irony was we were after some communication to understand the future of Wolves. If Fosun are going to be here to stay, which again, I reiterated in the interview, we needed answers as to what the future looks like. Let's go over it then. So the first topic of conversation that came up was to do with the current situation and health of the club. To which Jeff Shi was talking about the club obviously being quite financially healthy, even if we do go down with fine. And PSI is far away from us emphasising the club and its financial danger, even with relegation. Jeff, the club is fine, and the club won't be touched by PSI, or whatever they want to call it nowadays. It will not get touched because you have neglected the club to the point where we've sold so many players and we've got so much revenue financially, it wouldn't matter. And we know when we get down, if we get down, because we have to say if, because obviously Jeff brought it up in the interview, you know, it has to be mathematically correct. We're not down yet. But when we do, we'll lose Andre, we'll lose Gomez, we'll lose Larson, we'll lose X amount of players. I don't have any trust in Fosun to go and invest the money. So, what do you think about what he mentioned about the final stability?
When he was saying about relegation or staying up or going down, it's the same outcome and the same feeling. That just shows you what he actually knows about what happens to football clubs if they get a relegation and you don't sort it out quick. How can you imagine being in any other job for 10 years and saying, I still don't know what job I'm doing, but I'm earning 100 grand a week? Like, and there's still people that think he's the answer to helping us out. And all they say is, oh, you're just, you know, a glory unto if you're moaning about him. Oh, you weren't there in the batty days if you're moaning about him. You can't keep giving him excuses and sticking up for them, because that interview is an absolute joke.
He was tone deaf. I think in the next section, when he was talking about potential relegation, to use the word relegation is just a technicality. Jeff, come on, man. Come on. It's not just a technicality. It's disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. You have got a football club that you have prided yourself on getting to the Premier League. You spent X amount of money to get there. You spent X amount of money when we finally got there. The word technicality for a relegation means that the TV revenue gone. I think we get £190 million per season now, and I think in the Championship, you get about 10. I mean, Jeff, come on, man. I'm not a financial expert, and even I know that 10 million or 20 million is not the same as 180 million. And when he was talking about jobs not being lost, you've let yourself down there, because it only takes one person when we get relegated. It could be a cleaner, it could be a chef, it could be a kitman. You let one person go, you sack one person, and Wolves fans will be all over you.
Yeah, but we've
All
heard
over.
it all before with me. You know, Wolves are the team for you if you want to win trophies. Oh, this is how much you need to pay to watch Wolves play. We ain't going to win things. He just talks utter shit, honestly. And that interview just sums it up. But it's okay because he goes to work happy because he talks to the people he works with. So it's okay for us to lose every game because under Nuno, he didn't talk to the manager, so he weren't very happy going to work. That's basically what I got from what he was saying.
Yeah, I'm glad you've touched upon that, because I don't think a lot of people have brought it up. I think that bit of the interview was so stark. Obviously, he'd just been asked about Rob Edwards in the future, and if Rob Edwards would stay if we didn't win games of football, and he mentioned that Rob Edwards is here for the long term. He's expecting him for about 3 years plus.
Which, let's face it, that's absolute bullshit. If teams go down and that manager don't get you back up, or at least battling in the Championship, he's out the job. Simple as. And that's just not saying I would want him out. I'm just saying in football terms, he'd be gone, wouldn't he? So them saying he's got 3 years, they didn't have a clue. And Matt Jackson's just a yes man, absolute another yes man, and he'll just do whatever they ask him to do.
It was straight after that. Again, the Rob Edwards thing, being there for 3 years, I completely agree with you. If he doesn't win a game of football, he's obviously getting as much praise now as he can without actually winning a game. He would be gone. But for him to then sit there and indirectly slight Nuno and say that he was essentially hard to work with, and he's worked with other people before who were hard to work with, he wants to come to work and feel happy. Doesn't matter about results. As long as he can come into a working environment where it's all sunshine and roses, is what he's happy with. If that's the case, that line right there is enough for me to be able to sit here and say to people, are you happy with the way that the club is being run? Because I'm not happy to pay £850 for the Safe Bank every year if we get into the Championship and we've won 2 games all season, because Jeff thinks he's happy because he's got Rob Edwards and he's got people around who are walking in and just skipping along and enjoying the day. That isn't how a football club's run.
How can you be going to work happy? You're the chairman, you're the boss of the team, and you're bottom of the league. I'd be going to that training ground fuming that we still won a result because I'd care that much that I wouldn't want me to be a owner. I could manage Tipton Town and I want them bottom of the league. I'd want to be going out there making sure we've got the best manager to get us out of it, getting the best players in to get us out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
But to me, that would be, and this obviously goes off context of what Jeff said, but we're coming up to the January transfer window now. How are you meant to go out and recruit players and drive them to want to come to Wolverhampton when your only aspect, and you've admitted it, barefaced in front of all of the Wolves fans, and said, I want a happy environment. So let me put this into perspective. Some chap from abroad who doesn't really care about Wolves, doesn't know the history about Wolves, but Wolves are a Premier League team. Then you've got Millwall, because they're trying to get into the playoffs, or they're in and about it kind of thing. If I'm a foreign player and I've got Millwall on the table and Wolves, present your project to me. Why should I come to Wolves when they're about to get relegated? Millwall, present your project to me. Millwall say, look, we're obviously in a division below. We can't give you as much money as what Wolves can financially. We can't guarantee that you'll be in the Premier League next season. Jeff Shi's going to say to that player, come on, we're so happy. You'll never have a bad day's work here, because you'll walk in, you'll skip, you'll dance, you'll come and get a cup of tea with me. They might as well be hippies at this rate. That's what he wants the club to be, and that's how I took it. And how is he meant to present a project to players if that's the way that the club's being run? Let's move off that topic before I think we lose our shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay calm today.
It's hard work. Let's talk about his section of the infrastructure of Molineux, because that was another thing. So in terms of what Jeff Shi said, he was talking about the need for the Steve Ball stand to be done up. We have a project ongoing for the Steve Ball stand. I'm just waiting for an offer from a different party to make it more of a modern stand. He wants council support for the stadium itself and that stand. And he wants different stuff within the stand, like a theme park.
Theme park, a football club. I don't give a crap about your esports or anything like that, or your music. I don't give a shit, mate. I support Wolves to support a football club. I'm a fucking musician.
Mate, the theme park, the things. What does he want a slide from the top of the Steve Bull to the train station? Does he want, when you get to like a little carnival and you sit on the little horrible shreddy mats and you just go up and down over the slides? Is that what he wants? Does he want, what do you want, Jeff? I understand that he probably has, that's probably a bit misinterpreted, and we have to go off that English isn't his first language. Mate, he's been there 10 years now. He knows exactly what he's saying. He knows exactly what he's saying. But he's essentially wanting more investors to be able to make that more corporate. And I do feel sorry for the fans in the Steve Ball, because I dread to think how much it's going to cost you after that.
It'll be all corporate, won't it? If we were to manage to stay up. We ain't, like they're going to build a new stadium right now. A new stand, sorry. They ain't going to do it when we could be going down, and they don't know what finances we're really going to have, because I bet they don't. So they ain't going to do it now, and if we do come back up, that stand will just be for the corporate people.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he tore into the council, the Wolverhampton Council, and basically saying they don't offer us enough support, and they haven't said they're going to do stuff for the infrastructure of Wolverhampton. Mate, grow up, because from what I can see on the outside, I think Wolverhampton isn't obviously its old glory, but like they're trying to put a cinema in the town centre. They're trying to invest and get more business in there, from what I can see as we walk through Wolverhampton potentially. I know it's not great, and they need to do a lot more. And we'll also caveat, I think we're saying that today the Wolverhampton Council has come out lambasting Jeff Shi's quotes and said that they obviously do support Wolves and do support the whole infrastructure of the stadium of Wolverhampton as itself. So I think, to be honest, I think Jeff was doing what he's done best throughout most of the interview, and just trying to sway away from harsh questions, I think.
I know we had different views on the Matt Jackson about our academy players. I don't think that was a very good comment to make either. Per se,
I think we have to be positive in terms of, there were a couple of things that came out of the interview that were good, but there wasn't like, it was kind of what I would expect of a team in the Premier League. It was the fact that they were committing to another 3 years of getting the Category A licence for the youth level, and they were continuing with their commitment to the women's team. Now, I'm not a person who's watched much women's football. I'll be blatantly honest, but I know how well that Wolves women are performing, and I understand it's not going to be a massive revenue mover, but they're still Wolverhampton Wanderers at the end of the day. So we shouldn't have to be told, yes, we're still going to invest into the women. Just do it. You already fucked up last year by not actually giving them the chance to get promoted. Do it. Don't tell us. Just do it. You don't. That's a non-negotiable for me. And then you've also got, obviously, the Category A youth licence. We need that, because we won't be able to attract players like Matthias Mane, who was at lower league clubs, who by his own right has come in and done really well in a Wolves shirt. You won't be able to do that without the Category A licence. That, as good as what that is, and I'm happy that they're doing that, so does should. Great, isn't it?
It was a dreadful interview. I don't know how they can sit there and think that was an interview that was going to please Wolves fans.
It's just tone deaf, mate. It's just tone deaf. I think it leads us perfectly to segue into our next segment as well, which is the old Gold Packs tweet and the protest that's taking place this weekend at Brentford. From a standpoint of the old Golden Jats, we urge fans to take part as well. This is not a standing outside the stadium for 15 minutes one. So if everyone could try and print off before this weekend's game the document from the old Gold Pack, we want everybody to take it down to the stadium, and on the 18th minute and the 77th minute, hold it high, hold it proud, make your voices heard, because this is our club. This is what we're protesting for. And I think, as bad as what Fosun and Jeff Shi are, and after that interview, we need to make it heard that we will be here a long time after Fosun. We will always be here till the day we die. We need to show these owners this is a peaceful protest. This is to make our voices heard. And I think because this game is so massive on Saturday, we need to back the players as much as what we can. And I think that's the reason why the old goal pack would probably have done a protest this way this week, because the players need the support, especially after Arsenal. They need the support of the fans. We need to try and stay off the back if we can, but still, don't be afraid to make your voices heard. Raise the posters. Let them know it's going to be our club until the day we die, whether they're here or not. Any thoughts on the protest, Luke?
I think I'd probably say that we probably need to try and do something else. I don't think going into the ground 15 minutes in every game would do the trick, because it can just get stale, can't it? So I think could be a good one because it's more visible. And then we're all in the ground straight away to back us in an important game, because we're going to be there right away. A message to the players is you just got to go out there and be brave, and backing out with tackles and losing the 50-50s and not even jumping for your headers. If you can play like that against Arsenal and you don't play like that against Brentford, that's literally just because you're playing top of the league and you want to get noticed for a move. That's the way I put it. If you can play and battle like that against Arsenal, you can easily battle against Brentford. That's all I'm asking. Even if you draw 1-1, I don't care as long as they're all lying on the floor at the end because they're exhausted, not laughing and joking with the other team and pulling their hands in. Like, it's like Jose Sarr, I think, was doing it to Cunha, and I could only see none of that and swapping shirts. I want to see you going out there and giving everything, and that's what's going to get those fans to start backing you again. Because there's only so much that you can take of them being like they were against Forest and Man United, where Cunha and Gibbs White, they were nowhere near it. No one was getting into the faces. We weren't brave enough on the ball to play at Wolves. So it's on them a little bit as well to not stop the protest, but to turn that protest towards even louder support when it's done and finished towards the team.
Mm-hmm.
With Fowson, with that interview, I don't know how they expected to stop the protests, especially by saying that the fans in the forums or that chats or whatever they have actually like them and talk to them. And it's a small minority of fans that want them out. That was just a ridiculous comment as well.
I'm for this I'm for every protest, to be honest. I've got to say, I think that the old goal pack and the supporting groups this week, they've kind of hit the nail on the head, because I'd take the game completely out of it now. Like, we need to make our voices heard against Fosun, and I think this is probably the right way to go about it in terms of being able to actually support the team and make Fosun aware that we're not going away quietly. I think I'd prefer something a bit more, but I'm also not criticising the old goal pack, because they've got to tread really fine lines with this because of being able to support the team as well.
It's such a big game as well, isn't it?
I think it's the right thing to do. I think everything that they've done so far has been spot on. I saw obviously the tweets about the tennis balls and the whistles and that kind of stuff. I think that's something that probably could happen at a later date. But I think we're only our second protesting at this point, and you've kind of give your big show for the cameras. This week there won't be cameras on Wolves Brentford. It's not a massive game. Make your voices heard in the stadium to the owners. Show the posters. Show everything that Wolves is about and how much pride we take out of seeing our club and supporting our club, which we will always do. And then still plan for future protests if we don't see changes. One interview wouldn't change it anyway, but the interview was dog shit, so that definitely wasn't going to help. I'll leave a link below on YouTube as well. Please, 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 if you can, join the support, print it off and take it to the match day on Saturday. Remember, make your voices heard. The 18th minute and the 77th minute, get your posters up and make sure folks know that we're not going away quietly. Right. Shall we move on to a couple of questions before we do the match preview? First question comes from Jay Gallagher. Do you think Matthias Mane should be given a new extended contract as his current contract finishes in June 2027, meaning if we don't get him to sign an extension, he could walk away on us free at 18 years old?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I think I would say maybe they're waiting to see if we stay up to see what type of contract he has, but it's more than likely that we are down, isn't it? So with the way he's playing, like, if he comes into the team now and he plays well, regardless of the contract, I think he moves in the summer because I think someone's going to. He already had Brighton looking at him. So if he proves himself in the Premier League in these last half of the season, I think he's gone in the summer anyway. But a statement of intent to the owners, if they were desperate to come back up into the Championship, you'd be like, right, if Edwards wants you, this is your contract. You're here for another 2 or 3 years, learn your trade, and then you can move on. So I think it's got to be looked at that he does sign a contract.
I need to go into the fine details of this one because I would have to be corrected if I'm wrong. I think there might be an option to extend it for that contract, so at least it kind of gives us a little bit of leeway. But I'd still give him one anyway. I think that contract would have been one that was given to an under 23 player on the fringes, whereas now he's more of a squad player for the team. So I think he deserves, even at most, a little bit of a pay rise and a little bit of an extension and some sort of committal to show that he can be the future of Wolves if this is where he wants to be. So yeah, I like that question. I feel a lot. Again, from Jay Gallagher again. Accepting that probably Gomez, Andre, and possibly Menetzi and Agbadu will leave in January, do you think we have replacements sorted, or will we do our usual and think about it the day after the players leave? I will very quickly, before we answer this question, just mention the transfer rumours from this week, because most of those players are kind of in and about it. David Moller-Wolf is being looked at by Brighton, not the most reliable source. But if we were to go down, he's someone that Brighton are looking at. John Arias has been contacted and given a project by a team in Brazil. I believe it to be Palmeiras. Marshall Menezes is being closely looked at by teams in Ligue 1 in France. So a potential move back in the winter window could be something that happens. And obviously we need to free up spaces to sign players anyway. Enzo Gonzalez looks to be potentially leaving on loan to either a Turkish team or second division Spanish team or German team. Jean-Luc Bellegarde and Emmanuel Agbadou both being linked with a move to Besiktas. Jean-Luc Bellegarde is quite unlikely due to the injury. Obviously he's out for 6 weeks and that would take us right up to the very end of the window. Who knows about that one? And Fer Lopez again, he's been linked to Celta Vigo on loan. The only problem with that one for them is their squad registration's full, and they would have to move players on to be able to get him back. But to be honest, he's been given a bit of game time under Rob Edwards. So yeah. Thank you for the question, by the way, Jay Gallagher. What do you think about it, Liam? I know I've just rattled off the transfer rumours. It was accepting that probably Gomez, Andre, Menetzi and Agbadou will leave. Do you think we have replacements lined up?
I'd probably say we haven't, because I don't think I couldn't back us to say that we have, and even if we did, I think it'll take a week or two for Jeff Shi to give them the go ahead to finalise anything. Hopefully we have. Hopefully Edwards is setting up his team ready for another promotion bid. If these players wanting to leave, I don't think there's anybody in there that would be willing to be like, oh no, we desperately need to keep, because at the end of the day, if they don't want to be there, then they need to ship out. And if January is where we get the highest value and it's going to help us next year, then it's such a tricky one, isn't it? Because if we lose every game until January, there's no point keeping hold of them. We beat Brentford and get a few points, then that makes it a bit of a 50-50, because if you sell them, what players are you going to get in anyway?
Yeah.
Are you going to, what players can you attract to, I know I mentioned it before, I ain't saying to sign him, but like your Raheem Sterling's, your players who need to get a loan move, they ain't going to want to come and play for Wolves if there's nobody there to fucking play with anyway. So we don't know, you won't go and attract an exciting young, Spanish player that wants to play in the Premier League, because you'll know that he's in the Championship next year. So I think it's going to be a harder window than we're kind of expecting of recruiting players in.
I agree. I don't think Ferguson. They said that they have. They said that they have in the interview on WM. They've talked about obviously the two scenarios: one of staying up and one of going down. And apparently they have got players lined up. And we've obviously had reports about Wolves are going to be using the scouting team a bit more frequently now, rather than leaning on Jeff Stewart and Jorge Mendes. To be honest, they're owners that are full of broken promises and lies. So don't know.
They've got to though to make it work for us, because if you do sell an Andre or Joe Gomez, who's going in there? You need someone like that straight away to come and bed in and play there, or you're just going to set yourself up to lose a game, ain't you?
I think we need to look at leaders, and we need to look at players with championship experience who are at the higher echelons of the championship for me. To be honest, it's a great question, and thank you very much for your question. Sharky 999 is back. On the fab notes, the club are celebrating the 150th anniversary period instead of one particular celebration. Stadium stuff, kits and fonts and all that. What type of stuff would you like to see be done, regardless of the division that we're in?
It's an hard one, isn't it? Because you don't know. You've got to try and predict what the fan base is going to be like towards the current owners. I know there's a lot of people saying that they're not going to buy merchandise from the club shop and stuff like that, but I think for something so special of being 150 years, don't know, maybe could you look at having like a match at the Molineux in pre-season, or one of the pre-seasons where it's like full of our old players playing against each other, like this,
Like a Legends
teams in that game, they could wear 2 retro kits that the fans vote for them to wear. I think the Doritos helm top would be one of them that gets a mention, and then the club could bring one of those tops back in sale in the club shop, isn't it? What the a top that the fans would want, because I think everyone's desperate for one of those Doritos tops. I've got one, but it's like when I was like 8 years of age, so
You ain't fitted in that, mate. Of course.
No, I've kept it for the little one for when she can wear it. But yeah, I think something like that maybe could work. What about you?
You've only grown about 6 foot in height since then, haven't you? You were only about 8 foot then. I think you have to celebrate it. I think you have to compare. Ironically, with folks benchmarking us to Aston Villa, I think they want to start looking at benchmarking us to Blues at the minute, because it was their 150th this year. They did it on one singular occasion. But even like the kits, I think the kits were beautiful. They've got the gold sponsors on the blue shirts, and they did a whole match day dedicated to the 150th mark. So I know everybody's not going to buy the kits, but at the same time, I think if it was a 150th kit, maybe some people would be tempted to sway. I would have a kit for the season, but it might have been the old Gold Pack themselves. It might have been Ben Mortimer put out a tweet of a redesign of one of our old kits from back in the day with the old crest on. Looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've seen that actually.
I'd wear that for the season, 100%. Would I buy that kit? I would want to, if it wasn't being sold by Fosun. I would absolutely nab someone for it. I would bite the hand off for it because it looked beautiful. But I think I'd probably go down the Blues route. I'd celebrate one individual game in particular, and I think you could do a lot. Obviously, we have the fan zone pre-match. Make it a massive occasion. Make it not just in and around the ground, the whole city. Decorate the whole city for one game for the season, and where the fountains are and whatever. Try and get a stage, try and get like a big fan zone, really maximise the potential of it, and let everyone congregate together into a very much a party-like atmosphere. I think would be for me. Obviously, you got the kits. I'd like different stuff around the ground. Do you know what? Let's be honest. Finish the ground off, give it a lick of pint for the 150th year if you won't mind, Jeff. That'd be nice.
Would you want to see like 2 of our old teams playing against each other? Like, yeah.
I don't know whether they'd be able to play at Molineux because obviously the pitch is massive, and health conditions and stuff like that from back in the day from when they were playing.
Even if it's just like players, as far back as like a Sam Ricketts,
like Macri Sacco, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like even if it's them, or like a Kenny Miller coming onto the pitch,
I'd like that.
The older players could come round and do a lap of appreciation, couldn't they? And at half time of that game or something like that. So I think that would be quite good to see some of our old heroes that we've absolutely loved all these years.
I think that'd be a cracking idea, actually. I really like that. Maybe if it was just like a little, even if it was at half time and they did a little 10-minute game at half time, I'd be interested in that.
Alex Ray versus Paul Ince.
Go on, get it in. Final question. It's from Nigel from work, by the way. Sorry. He mentions obviously coming up to the January transfer window. Do you sell absolutely everybody and restart again? And the second part of the question was, do we try and get Tommy Doyle back from the Blues?
Would I get Tommy Darwood back? I probably would, because there's an extra option. We haven't got enough in there as it is anyway. So I think I'd want somebody to come in as a centre midfielder, and it'll give Edwards a chance to work with him for 6 months to, if we do go down, to have him as a he'll know if he wants him in his team or not, rather than him picking him in pre-season just because he thinks he will. So I think it's a no-brainer not to have him back.
I want Tommy Doyle back, don't get me wrong. My Blues mates are winding me up, telling me they're going to have him for 10 million come the end of the season, but I think that is the problem. There is obviously the option to buy that you have to work around. I know other clubs have done it before where they've paid paid the club who currently own the player to bring him back, and obviously get rid of the clause with the option. Can I see Wolves doing that? No.
Yeah.
Wolves aren't paying anyone money, let alone paying Blues money. Do I want him back? 100%. I think Wolves are crying out for a playmaker in the middle of the park. I think I was watching Blues versus Watford not long ago in the rain, at Blues, and Blues were really under the cosh at points in that game. They were winning and they were trying to hold on to a lead. And Tommy Doyle just oozes that maturity for a footballer, where it was a hard surface to play on. The weather wasn't great. Watford were throwing players forward. And every time the ball came to him, he just stopped. He took that extra second. He drew the press from the opposition. He got his head up and he was playing the football and making sure that every pass was so crisp that it didn't put Blues into any trouble from his own pass. It would be from somebody else that that the pressure would come from Watford. And I think to have that professional maturity for a man of his age, I think he's only 23. I really like Tommy Doyle. I take him back in a heartbeat, but again, that all falls on Wolves and the situation with Blues.
Everyone says it's lightweight, but, we're bottom of the league. We haven't won a game, so it's not as if, we are anything as a team. So I don't think I'd be against it. I'd be careful with a fire sale, just because if Rob Edwards is the man that you're going to back going down, you ain't going to be able to get backed losing the majority of matches. It just won't happen, because I think the fans will start to think that he ain't the right man to bring us back up. Whether I agree with that or not, I just can't see us losing majority of the matches and then us thinking, right, Rob Edwards, Barmy Army is going to get us back up. So they've got to be careful. I'd probably sell you big hitters if you was going to do it to get the maximum value, but the players who you just maybe get the money back or a little bit less, I don't think there's any point in doing it.
I think for me, I would sell Sean Larson and try and get any maximum value out of him that he can whilst he's here. And I would probably sell one of Andre Gomez, because I was listening to the Talking Wolves podcast earlier, and I completely agree. I think you don't really get maximum value for money for central midfielders, especially not when you go down. You're not pretending they're not strikers. Their role in the team to give as much value financially as what a striker is. So I would sell one of them, and often I would sell Andre.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Joe Gomez does look like he cares, and I think it would be another one of those where we would, as Wolves fans, would give him his blessing at the end of the season, unless he wants to go right now. I don't see that attitude from him, to be honest. Though he's obviously not had a great season, but I think, especially like that Arsenal game, he always puts himself out there, and I'd like to see what he could do if he had a playmaker beside him as well, to be honest.
I think if John Arias wants to go, I'd let him go as well, as long as we don't lose any money out.
Mate, I'd take a loss on him. I won't care. Get him gone. Get rid of him. That finishes up for the questions. So, Wolves this weekend take on Brentford at home. 3:00 kickoff. And it's definitely a winnable game. It's one that Wolves really need
We have to win, simple as, I think.
I'm going to let people in. I'm going to let people in for a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're like at 7:00 in the morning when I'm coming back from a 12-hour shift, Liam, and you're just on your way to work, at how delusional we are sometimes. I was looking at this weekend's fixtures. So I've got Man City at the Etihad. Burnley have got Bournemouth at the Vitality.
Both managers under pressure as well.
Yes, Leeds have got Crystal Palace. It is at Ellen Road, but I think Crystal Palace have enough to make sure that they win that game. All I'm saying is those three teams have got really hard fixtures. We're currently 14 points away from safety. A win this weekend would take us to 11, and this is where the delusion all comes in, mate, because I'm battered after these 12 hours night shifts. I was thinking to myself, 11 points. Yeah, you could win a couple. Or, you could win a couple of games. Tell you what, if you win one more game in January than what everybody else wins, then you knock it down to 8 points. Then you do it again the following month in February, and then you knock it down to 5 points. And then it's anyone's game. That's the delusion kicking in, though. That's not a true reflection of what we properly feel when we're awake. But I think, I'm going to be honest, I'm quite positive towards the weekend.
We've been here before, haven't we? I missed the Man United at home. Yeah, 6 points.
Let's not talk about it.
I think if you do beat Brentford, and then is our next home game like the 3rd of Jan against West Ham,
Massive.
you win both of them, and I know I've said it against both Forest and Man United, but if you beat both of them, it sets up that January window very nicely. The pressure's on them as well, and we've got Liverpool, Man United away.
Yeah. But both of those teams are struggling at home because of pretty much the same as us. The fans are always on the back and everything they do. So they are obviously going to be really hard games in comparison to West Ham and Brentford. But Brentford are on a bit of a rocky patch at the minute.
I call it now, Dan. 5th of January, we're going to lost 4.
Well, I wonder what the bookies will give you for that. Evens. Let's move on to the team lineup. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you 2 different lineups this week, people. We'll go first. This will be the squad that we think Rob Edwards will play. We think he will stick with the 5 at the back. Sam Johnston in goal. We think Doherty at right back. Moller Wolf at left back with Krejci, Totti and Santiago Bueno at centre back. Andre and Gomez as the 2 central midfielders. We think this might be the week where there's some changes going forward. We think Mane on the left, Fer Lopez on the right, and Tolu Arakadara up front. But we're almost banking on it all. We've got absolutely no information. We just think that it might be the right time that Strand Larsen does get that drop out of the team. Maybe he needs it to kind of revitalise his season. Arias shouldn't be anywhere near it. I think Hwang did very well, but I don't think you can go with the 2 strikers up top. I think it's a bit too negative against Brentford. So that's why we've gone with Fer Lopez on that right-hand side. What are your thoughts, Liam? If that was what Rob Edwards plays?
I think if you play as that team and they've not got no Utah, I think we get the win. I think they lost tonight, didn't they, to Man City? I think they made a few changes, but, the likes of Nathan Collins have played a game again, and Sharda was back tonight, but I think we've got to win. I think we win. I think that team sets up perfectly. That was the best 5 minutes I think we've played all season against Arsenal with that similar team. So I think they'll be buzzing and full of confidence after just scoring against top of the league. So I think the fans want to see a front-footed team at home, especially against your relegation rivals. You're going to want to see attacking players, not sat back trying to hold on, because if you concede chances, that's what gets the grumbles. That's what's going to put the players under pressure. So you need to see players taking hold of the ball, and Lopez is going to want it anywhere on the pitch. Mane looks like he'll want it. Talo looks like he'll try and feed off anything that he can absolutely get. So I think for me, if we play that team, I think we can get a result.
I think it's the positive way to go about it while still being cautious. As you mentioned, Brentford are like pen merchants at the minute, and they all come from Dango Ouattara winning penalties. He's gone to the AFCON. Obviously, Emmanuel Agbadou's gone to the AFCON, so we won't have him. And unfortunately, so Mosquera picked up his 5th yellow card, so he won't be available for the game. Let's move on to what could potentially be a lineup, something that we could potentially see happening. Don't think it will. I don't think we can play the 4 at the back. I think we need to be defensively solid against Brentford. But something that we've kind of stumbled on with us too in our little 7 o'clock chat this morning is what we think could happen. So obviously we've gone with a 4 at the back. We've gone with a kind of 4-3-3 formation. Johnston in goal, Doherty right back, Bueno, Gomez and Moller Wolf in a back 4.
We spoke about Santi, didn't we? Because he's that calm presence on the ball rather than us rushing it and giving it away cheaply and getting the grounds at him. We spoke about him being in there to calm us down on the ball. Doherty in there just to shove us up because he just looks like he knows how to defend. And
him against Lewis Key Potter. I mean, if he hated Nelson Semedo, mate, he's going to hate Matt Doherty.
Yeah, and then we had Andre in like the pivot, didn't we, just to hold things together with like Krejci and Joe just getting in and around them and putting themselves about and getting box to box. And then it was Tolu again up front, and then Mane and Lopez as two in behind the striker.
Let us know what you think, people. I'm not saying that Wolves should go back to a back four by any means. I'm just thinking, I think we both thought this morning as we'd like to be a bit more aggressive going forward and really try. I think what we missed against Forest was we looked a bit too reserved. So if you kind of don't want to make the same mistake, that looks like a team that's defensively solid.
We said, didn't we, if people wanted Krejci at centre half, we'd take Santi out, put Krejci in there, and add Arias into the
one,
three
the other
attacking-
striker, and then
Yeah.
move Lopez back into midfield.
Yeah, so, do you reckon it'll happen? I don't think it will he?
I don't think so. Rob Edwards will go and do his tried and tested, and I can't blame him for it, to be honest, because I don't think he's done too much wrong. I think that was just something that we both looked at and thought there's scope for possibility to try and see if we could, get a goal or two against Brentford. It'd be nice to see us go out there and put some pressure on a team rather than it always coming against us.
Do you think Tolu does start?
I think
I
so.
know we want him to. Do you reckon he will?
I think so. I think against Brentford, you've kind of got Nathan Collins and Sepp van der Berg. Both of them aren't fast players. So for me, you can get Tolly running in behind of them two. I think so. And I'd love to see Fer Lopez trying to play those little killer balls in between the lines and letting Tolly try and beat the last man. I could see it happening, if I'm honest. But we'll obviously await the press conference on Friday and make sure everybody's fit first. But that's potentially something that we'd be looking at.
If you think Jose Sarr's staying in January, do you reckon he deserves another shout at being the number one?
I don't think he'll stay. I think someone's got to come in for him. If I'm honest, I think we have to cut our losses with Jose Sarri. He earns too much money to sit on the bench. It's not like he's that John Ruddy, like integral leader role kind of thing, is he? And you kind of got Dan Bentley, you can do the same thing. I think it's time to look for a new goalkeeper. But again, you're in that precarious position of league standings and form at the minute, and what will be will be. Can I hazard you before we go for a score prediction for the game?
I think 2-1. I think we go 1-0 up at half time. I think we score again. And then, like Wolves always do, we make it harder for ourselves. Brentford score. Maybe VAR gets a shout somewhere. And then we're absolutely holding on to it. And then the cheer at the full time is going to be absolutely unbelievable because we've managed to get over the line. The Super Rob's doing his fist bumps at the South Bank.
Oh, are you going to stick your middle finger up to Keith Andrews on his way east?
What about you? Yeah.
I'm going to tell everybody that we do film these podcasts quite late. It's currently 11 o'clock at night, so try not to give it too many pelters.
Come on, you know you need to.
3-0 Wolves? Nah, it's probably going to be 2-1. I agree with you, but 3-0 Wolves, come on. Maybe Tolu, just that tiny little bit of confidence, I don't know.
And a bit of a kick up the arse that he's been dropped.
Yeah. Like this game to me screams the start of the players trying to find a bit of confidence after that Arsenal game. As long as the fans are on the side, which I think we all will be, I think we all need to be. Again, make sure that you print off your little A4 documents and hold them up on the 18th and the 77th. Get behind these players because I really do think there's a chance that we will win this game on Saturday. I'm delusional and I'm tired. And I'm sick of Wolves losing every single game. So I'm going to try and be optimistic rather than the pessimistic that will probably come out of me whilst we walk into the ground on Saturday. When I say that, we're probably going to lose 5-0. I'm really, really optimistic about the game. I think Liam is as well. Again, delusion. It's probably set in at this point. But thank you all so much for the love and support, really, and the questions. Please keep them coming. Please get your feedback in the comments down below because we've already hit our plus 100 subscriber goal before Christmas, but I think we're up to 111, which is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Please keep liking. Please keep sharing amongst with everyone. Subscribe to the channel. Any final words from you, Liam?
Just that I hope everyone's hoping and praying for that first win for Christmas. Come on, please.
Christmas miracle. I'll tell you what, mate.
Go.
If we win, there might be some tinsel back there for the next podcast. There does that sound?
But yeah, again, thank you to everyone that helps the channel and helps us out. And does things even in our chat that just helps us with like ideas and stuff. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Yes, thank you to Nat, Mosey, Nick, everybody in the background who works just as hard to help keep the podcast active as well. Again, we're planning to have a bit more content coming up. I'm looking to get a transfer video out. I really want to get one out soon. I really want to nail that one out because I think that'll be a really interesting video. So once again, thank you all very much for listening, and let's see you next week when we've got 5 points on the board.